Welcome to RC Underground Radio.
We're racing toy cars here.
If you've been looking for a podcast that talks about one RC tracks, suppliers, and events, then you're in the right place.
I haven't changed my underwear since the Kenman.
See,
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. It's
I didn't
the
want
same.
to go there.
It's this.
And we're glad you're here. Now, here are your hosts, Ryan Retzloff and David Brinkman.
I am a BB in a boxcar.
So we're going to have a secret co-host. I know people have been making some great guesses all week long. But ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Aaron Streblow. So, Aaron, I'm really glad you joined us tonight. Thanks for being the mystery co-host. Everybody's been trying to make some guesses on who it was going to be. And, hey, we had to stick with RC Underground family, right? So you've been to the Underground. You actually run a track, right? So maybe you could tell us a little bit about Attitude RC Raceway.
Yeah, Attitude RC Raceway. We're in Waupun, Wisconsin. I started this track probably back in 2008. I started this track, and actually it was just a practice track when I got into RC racing. I wanted something just to practice on because I was doing RC racing in the winter time, and then I do full scale racing in the summertime. And I was like, well, during the summer I want a little practice track for an RC track, and I built it with a old borrowed tiller. Rode a tiller from the neighbor, and it was so bad that I actually had to pull it in reverse to get that thing to dig. So it was pretty interesting to say the least. And by the time I got to the front stretch, I was almost sick of tilling. My arms were sore, and I just wanted to run some laps. So basically, the front stretch was grass yet, and so that's how that got started. And fast forward to 2010, the spring of 2010, I had Joe and Carl who actually still race out there. They cornered me at work. I didn't really know them a whole lot yet. They work first shift, I work third shift, and they come up to me, they're like, "You got an RC track?" And I said, "Yeah, actually I do." And they're like, "Well, we got some nitro trucks, a Revo and a Traxxas T-Max, and you mind if we come out?" And I said, "Sure, we can come out, run some laps." So that's how that got started. And a couple other friends I have full scale race with, Jeff Steamer and Brandon Riedner, they heard about it, and they had some RC cars too that they were running down at Trackside Hobbies here in Wisconsin, and they asked to come out. So they would come out on Saturdays. Usually they'd bring their full scale cars out, and we'd run some laps on the RC track, and then in the Saturday afternoon and night we'd go to the full scale track and run at our local dirt track there at Beaver Dam Raceway. So but yeah, throughout the early summer there, we had Joe and Carl coming out during the week, and Brandon and Jeff coming out on the weekends. And Brandon and Jeff, they said, you got a good enough track here to run some wholesome races. And I said, no. I said, I can't host any race here. This ain't good enough. Yeah, let's do it. We'll help out. Let's do this. And I was like, all right. If you guys want to help, we'll start it out. So it was I think July or so, and in 2010, and that was back when you had rctech.net. I had a forum on there, so we put a little post out, and that's where it all started to the fall of 2010.
So, Aaron, as we talk about promotion, because I'm a promoter and you're a promoter, beyond racing and all those types of things, I know what I have to do with RC Underground, but it can't be anywhere compared to what you have to put in there at Attitude to prepare for a dirt race. So could you kind of take us through, like, when the clock starts? I don't know if it's the morning of or when it actually starts, but take us all the way through, from complete track prep all the way to race day, all the way to turning the lights off and thanking everybody for coming.
Yeah, so actually our track prep starts on Saturdays. So we race on Sundays normally. So our track prep starts on Saturday mornings because we go our full scale racing with the full scale car on Saturday nights. So We get up early. We have a few guys that come out, Joe, Dennis, Dale, Kurt. We come out about 9 o'clock in the morning at the RC track and get the tillers out, and we start tilling the track and making it smooth again. Because with Mother Nature and everything, it kind of takes a toll on the track if it's, when it sits outside for a week or two. So we always like to give it that fresh surface. So till it and smooth it out, pack it back in. And then we gotta keep water on it throughout the day, because once you have that packed in, you gotta keep it wet so it doesn't crack and dry out, especially when it's sunny and windy and hot on those summer days. So
when you're packing that track in, just for curiosity, how many hours does that take, and what's everybody kind of doing during? Because you said multiple guys come out, so I'm assuming somebody's on a tractor tilling. Or do you guys just switch off, or like how many hours does that take just to get to that phase?
So we usually I'm on the tiller, and I'll till it, and then we have somebody driving a tractor behind me with a drag on it, and that's so when we're tilling, if you got a bump in the track or something, then sometimes that tiller will make it actually worse. So we keep a tractor with a drag behind the tiller as well. So we actually have 2 tractors going throughout the time of tilling. And if everything goes well, we can do usually the whole track prep in about 2 hours. We kind of have it down to a science after doing it for so many years. So if we have the right people doing it and we have no hiccups in the road, it's about 2 hours that we can get it tilled and smoothed out and repacked in.
Okay. So that's first phase. Everybody's there. Everybody gets a drink of water, because that's some work to do for 2 hours. I mean, you guys are putting more work in moving dirt than they do it for the brewers. So that's a lot of work going on right there. So, okay, now we're in the next step. What comes next?
So actually, and also while we're tilling too, you got guys setting up. We got our tech table. We bring out from the shed, because everything's outside, so we like to pack things away. So guys bring out the tech table. We got garbage cans to put out, so guys are doing that. So we got a few odds and end things going on. We have pit stalls, and the way we do that is we paint the pit stalls, just section them off with yard paint. So we got usually Dale, that's his assignment. He took on that job. So everyone's kind of got their own little roles to do during the day. So, but once we get it packed in, then it's time to, like I said, keep the water on it. And so usually around that time, I gotta get the full scale car ready, go switch modes to full scale racing, and then I got guys like Dennis who stick around till 3 or 4 in the afternoon just to keep water on it as it dries up. And then when he goes home, then we actually have Paul Peterson from Shark RC Bodies. He actually lives by us here. Fortunate enough to have him. He comes out later on in the night, around sunset. He'll come out and he'll put good coating of water on it, so we can put the track to bed wet and make it last throughout the night. And then we start in on Sunday morning.
That's amazing. Just amazing. Yeah. Myself as a promoter, if I did a checklist and you said, okay, Dave, you tell me what needs to be done. I would have missed about 16 steps there, because that's amazing. Boy, now I'm feeling guilty, because when I'm done racing, I just turn the lights off, turn the TV off, and go upstairs. So,
Dave, you do a phenomenal job there at the RC Underground, and I know there's a lot of work that goes into that as well, and a lot of decisions to being made. And I'm fortunate enough too to have a ton of help throughout, like you said, the 2 days of track prep and the race day itself. So I definitely could not do this alone. So I appreciate all the help that I can get, and all the guys that come out and willing to help out to help me put on a race day. Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, you can't do it. I'm fortunate too. I do most of it myself, but like Wendy, I mean, just that she allows me to do all this craziness is one thing. She gets a big kick out of it. So that's fun. But yeah, you got a whole army of people there. So let's do this. We owe those guys and gals that help you, your wife, your daughter, Dale and all the guys that help. So this goes out to them. Hopefully you heard that on your side.
I like it. Cool. Yep.
Yeah. No, the two of us, it's our crazy dreams, right? Our crazy ideas, and it's in our heart and our passion. And we like to entertain. I can see that in you as well, right? You wouldn't do all this if you didn't enjoy seeing other people have fun with this hobby. And we both enjoy that, but we also have to leverage other folks to help us get it done in the time frame that it takes. And that's just another piece of it that I think people don't realize out there, and we talked a little bit about, off the air that racers really shouldn't have to, we're not looking for accolades. Yeah. We're not doing this, talking about this going, okay, now we want everybody to come there and pat us on the back. That's not where we're going with this. It's just, I think people will be interested and probably really surprised as to how much work does go into behind the curtain or behind, backstage, getting ready for an event. So hopefully they understand that. And then other promoters around the country, hopefully they're raising their arm in the hand going, yes, somebody's talking about this part of it, not just how to set up the cars and how to charge the batteries and what's the coolest division. And here's what the track doesn't do right. Somebody go on the air talking about what goes into putting something on like this. Cause it's, I don't want to say thankful job, but we're not making money at this stuff, right? This is this is 100% a labor of love. And the ability,
definitely.
And the ability to hang out with a bunch of cool people and enjoy the hobby that we all got into individually and then come together. So, hats off to you and your team for doing that. Just an amazing story of how you get ready. Now, but there are unexpected situations, right? Like here at the Underground, since I run in the winter, I try to set the schedule from September to May, because we do the same thing. We have some guys that are real racers and they got to start getting ready for the race season, including yourself, including Dale, who's there helping you. So we want to be respectful of that. We want to be respectful of all the other RC tracks throughout Wisconsin and other states that drivers want to go race at. And in the winter, there's just not a whole lot to choose from. There's trackside and there's some good 1RC indoor tracks that actually more and more popping up because it's so easy to have a track of that size. But we try to be respectful of that and just run during our time frame. But we run into little unexpected things like snowstorms, and it's kind of ironic that I have to cancel an event and it's indoors, but that happened at the last one. We had some snow,
right?
And honestly, it was one of those deals where by like 12 o'clock, we got 9.5 inches of snow here that morning, but by noon you wouldn't even know it. The streets were clear, the driveway was clear, but I didn't want those guys driving in that. I didn't want people coming. You guys come from Waupun, and we got drivers, Nick Ciccone, George Marr, drivers like that Todd Booker. They all come from Illinois. People had long ways to go. And would they have done it? Absolutely, they would. They're racers. They would have done it. But I would have felt horrible if anything happened to anybody during that trip. So it wasn't worth it for safety. So we did cancel that event. We did reschedule it. So we are actually racing a little deeper into May than I would like to. But that's that. But then on your end, you've got to deal with if you got 150 plus guys coming and gals coming, you got a lot of grass to cut, because I would assume your parking lot is huge.
Yeah. I would say the track sits on about an acre. And like I said, the other 2/3 of the pit area is actually the neighbor, Jack. So we're very fortunate to have a pretty awesome neighbor that allows us to pit in his yard and use most of his yard for pitting as well. So Yeah, like I said earlier, the track is actually at my dad's house. That track was built when I was still live there. I'm now out of the house and married and have a kid, and but track still was there and it stays there. My dad was was fortunate that my dad let me have it there, and he does a lot of the yard work, so we have that going for us. And but yeah, it like you said, the weather can put a wrench in things once in a while when you got rain coming in or whatnot, or rain during the week. So you gotta make all those decisions.
Yeah. So what do you do? So you have a torrential rain. You know that the ground is a little soft out there for parking, and now you've got drivers coming in. What kind of decisions have to be made there?
So yeah, because really the track we don't have an issue with, because we now have a drainage system in the track, and we have a tarp that can cover the whole track. So so that normally is not an issue. Like you said, it is the parking area because it's all in a yard. Normally in the summertime, that yard gets pretty hard, so it can take quite a bit of rain. And now we actually have part of the yard, our section of it actually has a drainage system in it as well. It's tiled and whatnot. So once again, good old dad, he comes to the rescue when it rains, and he starts pumping right away, and hopefully can get it dried out enough. So like I said, normally in the summertime, we don't have a whole lot of issues. It's now springtime. Like now is when we have more of the issues, and then fall time as well.
Those dads.
So you just gotta.
Those dads, huh? Those
yeah,
dads
right?
just always come through.
So
here's a question. Does your daughter race?
We are looking to get her into it. She told me the other day I got to get her car done. So we have one here that we've been slowly building, because I've been having her do the little bit of wrenching on it. We had a couple parts to switch out on it, and of course she's learning, and she's 6 years old, so that takes a while. But and I'll help her get it finished up too. So we got a body here, shark body, getting ready to paint up for her, and we have the decals ready for it. So maybe we'll get her out there this year.
All right, here's the challenge. Have her race this summer, and then somewhere in the garage or in the driveway, have her burn some laps in that 1RC car. Let's let her go in the history books as the first girl to ever race at the RC Underground. That would be awesome.
That would be pretty cool.
That is an open invitation. I don't care if she's banging off the walls. I don't care if she's jumping over the infield. That's an open invitation to her from us at the RC Underground. We would love for her to be the first girl to race there.
We'll see. We'll see what we can do. We'll have to work on her this summer and see what we got in the sort of come fall time.
Great. I want to see some video of that when she's burning some laps and she's feeling comfortable. I want you to send me some video. I want to. These boys need to get ready for what they're going to be in for, because if she's got half the talent of her dad, we could see a 1-2 Streblo finish. That would be amazing. As long as she beats Dale. I just want to see her beat Ryan. That would be would be wonderful. So yeah,
think Ryan could take it.
I don't know. You know Ryan. I don't know. It'll take him a few days to get over it. So
right.
So for folks that don't know, I brought Aaron in as the co-host. Ryan had to go out of town on some business. Couldn't be on the show, but I said, hey, the show must go on, so let's have some fun. I'm going to bring on a mystery co-host. I want to thank everybody that was turning in their thoughts on who it was. There were some pretty funny ones. Nobody guessed Aaron. And they're like, well, if anybody's like, wow, Aaron, that's cool. Why'd you pick him? Well, we were racing at the Underground. Aaron was there the first time with Dale. And I dabble. I try to run in the heat races. I'm just more to make sure that the heat race numbers are even. But went out there and I was racing, and Aaron's like, hey, I'll do the mic. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Anybody can do the mic. So, and then he starts doing his thing, and I'm like paying more attention to what he's saying than my driving, which it definitely showed in the final finish. But no, you did a great job, buddy. And then that's when we got talking, and you're like, yeah, well, I do a lot of the announcing at the track. So there's a question. Do you race at the track, or do you just do all the admin and PA?
There for a couple of years, once we got more and more racers in, for a couple of years, I took off from the racing aspect of it. And then the last couple of years now, once again, I got back into it, and luckily I got people that help me out. I race one class there. I raced the sprint car class. So I got myself a sprint car, and Kurt was, luckily Kurt come forward and he said, hey, you want to race? I'll take care of your car. So I literally, bring my car, my battery, and my remote. I plop it down on Kurt's pit table in the morning. I said, here you go, along with batteries. And all I got to do is go from my stand to the driver's stand. He has the car ready on the track. Sometimes he'll even take a couple hot laps with it. And then I just check in, and I'm ready to race. So once again, lucky to have people that help me out, and so I can enjoy, the racing aspect of it as well.
So if you go out there and beat them, then do they do that again, or do they just happen to forget?
Right. Sometimes they threaten me not to prep my tires or charge my battery or something like that, but it's all in good fun.
Yeah, exactly. I always get threatened with the home field advantage, but honestly, I don't practice down there. I probably have the least amount of laps of anybody down at the underground, and nobody's going to believe this when they hear it, but I know it. You can ask Wendy.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it. Because I'm in the same boat as you. Everyone thinks that I got all these laps, on the track, and to be honest with you, the only laps I ever get is them laps that I'm racing on race day. Yeah. So other than that, it's working on it and doing other things. So.
Yeah, same here. I'm stringing electricity. I'm building tables. I'm fixing whatever. Had a flood about 6 weeks ago. There's always something, plus just the things you have to take care of around a house. Anyways, I'm sure you get that
right.
That list of things as well. There's no burning laps downstairs 7 days a week. That's just not happening. So, I'm just enjoying this promoter to promoter conversation, and I'm hoping the listeners are getting kind of an inside look at what goes into putting a race together. I had Scotty Ernst on the other day. I'm sure you know who Scotty is. He's he owned Trackside for many years, and then obviously he travels the world putting on big events, and that was another part that I was like, I got to get Aaron on so we can talk about local Wisconsin racing and promotion. I knew it would be a good conversation. I knew you were the guy. So again, I just appreciate you jumping on and doing this tonight, kind of short notice, and helping us, do a little different angle to RC racing that, as I mentioned earlier, I don't really think gets talked about enough. And we're just two guys. So I don't know how many tracks there are just in Wisconsin, let alone across the country, across into Canada, and then across the world. But everybody's putting in that effort when nobody else is at the track yet to get those events going. And like Scotty, I mean, those events have to take months and months. So there's a question for you. When do you start to plan? Like now, you're getting ready to start your 2023 season. When do you start to plan 2024? And are there some, what we like to call, diamond events, or your crown jewel? That's what I meant to say. Do you have particular races that are like your crown jewel events?
Yeah. So, excuse me again, Dave.
You're all good. Like I said, I can always take that out. Just take a quick pause before you come back.
So usually we stop racing in October. early part of October. Take, a couple weeks off, and then we go right into planning the next season. So I'm one that I like to get everything out there early, and that includes class rules, and then the schedule. So my goal always is to have the class rules and the schedule done by Christmas. It always doesn't happen. I think this year we were first part of January when we had to schedule out a little bit later on the rules this year. But yeah, so that's when the planning starts, usually right away when we get done, the year before. So as far as the schedule wise, Crown Jewels, our biggest one is the Matt Voigt Memorial Race, and that's always usually in the second week in July. So I don't want to say there's a lot of planning left to do with that, because we have been doing it for 10 or so years now, but it kind of plans itself. But there's still work to be involved with it to get sponsors and whatnot. But that comes closer to the date of the race, getting sponsors and donations. Because what we do is we have a memorial race in memory of our friend Matt, and we get sponsors, both RC sponsors and locally sponsors, and we raise money that day. We do a bunch of raffles, silent auctions, and all of our money goes to a local charity for all them proceeds that we raise. So that actually, the last few years have been going to the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Fond du Lac County. So what we do here with RC racing, obviously, is we promote the future in our sport, and we love working with the kids, and we figured that was a great opportunity to give back to our community.
So a couple things come to mind to that. Let's give Matt his due. Please tell us about him, how this event began. Secondly, please get me all the information about that event that you can, because we want to promote it here at RC Underground Radio. And thirdly, we want to be involved in that race. Let's talk off air about how RC Underground Radio can get involved in that, because that is the essence of what this hobby is about, and that you guys are taking the time to remember him, remember Matt. That's how it should go. I respect that, and that's something that I know Ryan will say, "Oh, absolutely," that we want to be involved in. Sure. So we'll talk about that off the air. But take a little time and tell us about Matt.
So yeah, Matt, he actually was a friend of Kurt Rayleigh, a friend of mine and Kurt. So, and I can't remember the year that he passed away, but anyways, when he passed away, we want to do something in memory of Matt. He was always into motorsports. He did the whole demolition derbies and the EVA destructions, and if there's something with a motor and wheels, he was into it. And it was just at the point that we were getting going with RC racing, and getting Attitude RC Raceway going. So, and Kurt and I, when we got this, he was helping me get this track going as well. And we want to do something to give back to the community, something that, something good that we can do out of our hobby that we're doing here. So, we figure we create the Matt Voigt Memorial Race and do it in memory of him. And it snowballed from there.
Well, that's great. I mean, prayers to Matt and his family. It doesn't matter if it's 10 years, 50 years. It never gets easier, right? When they've lost a family member. No,
definitely.
Yeah, and same for you and all the crew out there. You lost a friend. So, again, prayers out to that family for that. That's awesome that you're doing that event. And after all this time, you make him come alive for the day, right? His memory lives. And that's so important.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's a good time spent, and his family comes out, his parents come out for the day, his sister, and just spend a day together. And her husband, he shows up and he races for the day. So it's good time spent with friends and family. Good. And also with the big brothers, big sisters, we've been trying to get them more involved. So what they do is we try to get some of we call them littles, the kids. We try to get them to come out with their big brother and big sister. And then we have actually a couple races for them too. So they don't want to spend the whole day there because it can get to be a long day. But we run a qualifying round for them. And then at the beginning of our second round, they run their own main. So then they have a race of their own. So try to get the charity involved as well.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. And I mean, that is the essence of what this hobby should be. The fellowship, we talk about it here all the time. And obviously the level of fellowship out at Attitude Raceway is inspiring. This just is the icing on the cake. I had no idea. I have chills just hearing about it. Just fantastic that you guys all rally around that. And then you're taking his memory and then you're helping kids. Just amazing that you guys put all that together. So, again, kudos to you guys for doing an event like that. So after that, so that's in July. Are there
Correct.
other big events that you have?
So actually this year we have quite a few series within a series that I guess you would call bigger events. But another one that comes to mind is our Mad Dog Championships, and that's actually before our Matt Voigt race. So our Mad Dog Motorsports Championship, that's June 10th. And that's actually a Saturday race, so we'll be racing Saturday night under the lights for that one. And that's actually in memory of our good friend Dana Zenel, who we lost here a couple years back unexpectedly. And he raced with us for quite a few years. I would say 5-7 years he raced with us at Attitude RC Raceway. Became a great friend of all of us, and passed away a couple years ago. And that's another one that we wanted to do something in memory of him. So we have his race team that he always called himself was Mad Dog Motorsports, between him and his son Jack Zenel. So we came up with the Mad Dog Motorsports Championship and got a hold of some really neat bulldog trophies, basically a statue of a bulldog.
That's
and
awesome.
Put together a race for him as well. And that's his family comes out that day as well. We do some things, opening ceremonies, and his family comes out and enjoys the day with all of us, and we race in memory of him and share stories of him, and it's just a good day overall in memory of Dana. So that's another one that comes to mind on the schedule.
Well, that's what you guys are doing out there. I mean, and I hope that's what the listeners are really taking in, is this is more than just a dirt track in a backyard and some friends racing around. You guys are really using it as a platform to memorialize people, to help others. There's so much more there to unpack. I wish we had about 5 hours on this podcast, because I'm sure there's more. There's even more there to it. So thanks so much for sharing that. It's hard. It's really hard when we lose, our RC brothers and sisters and family members or friends that maybe never raced RC. But that you guys are putting the brakes on and taking some time and keeping their memories alive. That's really special and something we really admire and respect. So kudos to all you guys for doing that.
Yeah, we enjoy doing things like that, and luckily, like you said, our group is pretty big out there. On any given race day, we have, I said, we average on 126 cars a race day, but that, most guys bring, multiple cars or whatever. So it comes out to be, I think our biggest day last year was 99 different people we had. So about 50 to 90 people on a given race day. But, so the group is big, but we are very fortunate to have a lot of good, guys and gals that surround the track, and that's one thing that people comment on when they come around is the amount of great people that we have out there, willing to share the hobby with us. So yeah, I couldn't be more grateful for that.
Well, just a great facility. If you're listening to this and you're just getting new into the hobby, here's a wonderful place to go. Attitude Raceway up near Waupun, Wisconsin. Aaron, why don't you give us all the specifics? Because I know there's going to be established racers that say, okay, I'm going there. There's going to be new racers that say, that's the place I want to go. That's where I would feel comfortable to get involved with this sport, because it's a family atmosphere. I already, just from hearing Aaron, I feel very welcome. I've been wanting to get into this hobby. This sounds like the place to go. So why don't you give us the website information, your Facebook page, if there's any phone numbers people could call. And then just one last shout out to all the people that help you to make Attitude Raceway possible.
Yeah, so you can find us obviously on Facebook, Attitude RC Raceway. And then our website is attitudерcraceway.com, and that's where we have the schedule and the class rules. And if you still need information after that, don't be afraid to reach out to the Attitude RC Raceway Facebook page, message us on there, or you can give me a call at 920-382-5883. And yeah, I'd like to, once again, thanks to everybody that, obviously helps out there at the track. It takes an army. And it's not only, track prep and setting up and taking down. It's the people that help out during the race. We also have guys like Cody, who, between races, water the track. So I can stay up in the scoring tower. Joe also water the track throughout the day. And then not only that, but you got all the other side things, like people, just everybody helping out everybody. You got questions, and guys go over and help each other out. Somebody doesn't know how to solder, they come up by Dale. Hey, you mind soldering this? Dale solders up what they need. So it's all the side things too that just make everything go around and hopefully make it a special place to race at.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I'm glad you gave the phone number. You gave the Facebook page. You can message there. This is a challenge from RC Underground Radio to all the RC companies out there and regular companies anywhere in the area. If you're hearing this and you got a company, or somebody who has a company, this is a racetrack to get involved in. Definitely get involved in Matt's race, the Mad Dog race. There's a lot of opportunity to get your company name out in front of people, and this place deserves it. These are going to be awesome events. Aaron does a great job to promote. You're going to get a lot of visibility. You're going to get a lot of social media exposure, and it's just the right thing to do. So that's my challenge out there to any companies or anybody that knows a company that's listening. Make sure they give Aaron a call. Get on the board. I'm hoping that with this, it's going to be very difficult to get on there. So don't waste time. Jump on the phone, jump on a text, get out to Aaron, get your name involved in these races early so you get more promotion for your money. And, join us at RC Underground Radio, and let's all do the right thing and get behind these events.
Dave, I'd like to thank you as well for having me on. I'm actually honored to be on this show. So I'm obviously no Ryan Retzloff, and obviously these guests, it's hard to follow up on these guests that you've had. I know you've had Scotty and Charlie, Matt Murphy, and even Nick and George. Your shows have been incredible, and I appreciate what you guys do, not only at the RC Underground at the track, but these podcasts as well. It's a good thing for our hobby, and I appreciate everything you guys have been doing with it, and you guys have been doing a phenomenal job.
Oh, that's humbling, buddy. And we just do it from the heart, just like you do. That's what drives all of us in this hobby. And we'll keep doing it as long as everybody keeps listening.
So yeah, we run the dirt tracks here around the area here in Wisconsin. That's our class is called the Grand National Division. So I would say it's equivalent to, for them, our friends down south, like a super street stock or a street stock or a super stock class down south. So
Okay.
Or up north, it's more like the Wissota street stocks. But yeah, we run on a dirt track, and it's just a metric chassis, basically stock metric chassis from front to back with a cage on it. But we can run screw jacks on them and aftermarket bodies. So the rules do want to keep it stock appearing yet. So, but in reality, it doesn't look like a street car anymore. But because we can run all fabricated bodies with the plastic fenders, plastic nose cone, sheet metal from there on back with the spoiler on the back. So
great. And some wicked looking wraps. That's one thing I love with your car. I'm going to get out there to see that too. I definitely want to see you racing on the big dirt ovals. So, but your whole family's involved in that, right?
Yeah. If it wasn't for the family involvement, I wouldn't do it. That's half the fun, if not more. Just spending time with family. So we go and race. My dad, he's basically the crew chief on the car, and he putzes on that car all week long usually. And if I wreck it, he has a little more work to do during the week. But obviously, our crew, we work on it as well when we can throughout the week. But yeah, no. So it's good time spent with my dad and I, and I'm lucky enough that my wife and my daughter and Ansley and Angela enjoy to come and watch too, as well as my in-laws. So, but yeah, we spend days out at the shop, and then we go racing at night, and then after the races is, like I said, that's half the fun. Everyone comes down to pits. We have usually a table full of food and just enjoy everyone's company. So yeah, I'm very fortunate to have the support I have with family and friends.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking on social media, it's great that you validated it, because it just looks like your daughter and your wife and the rest of the family are really into it, right? Like, so they're really supporting you. But on top of that, it looks like they really enjoy and look forward to going, and that's just awesome. That's awesome when the whole family is together.
Yeah, definitely. I've contemplated, giving it up, and because we do the camping thing as well. But I think it was this last winter I was talking about it, and I asked Ansley, our 6-year-old daughter, I said, "Should Daddy sell the race car?" And she said, "No, don't sell the race car. I want to go racing." So she enjoys it too. So that's what keeps me going week in, week out, to make sure that thing hits the track every week. So,
well, I think she called it right, because why don't you tell the people about the season opener?
So yeah, we went up to Gravity Park in Chilton, Wisconsin. And that was actually my dad's 79th birthday, right on the day. So that was his choice. He wanted to go racing, and we were all in on it, and went up there, and right away we had a good pill draw, because it's a draw redraw, his first night of racing here in Wisconsin. And so started on the front row in the heat race and won that. And then, of course, in the feature with a good pill draw, we started on the front row again. And we were able to lead that thing from green to checkered, basically. It came with a few hiccups. We had some heavy lap traffic to deal with. And then towards the end there, we had the track champion up at Chilton from last year, Dustin Weiss. He put the heat on me there in the last lap, almost caught me sleeping. He had the lead coming out of 4. But I was able to rally back down the straightaway and get it by a bumper. So that was super special to win a feature race on not only opening night, but on my dad's 79th birthday. So that was a pretty neat experience.
Yeah, that's like a storybook ending. That's awesome. And I saw that you won, and I saw the pictures on your social media. I didn't realize the finish, so now I got to go out there and find that video because I'm sure somebody videotaped that. That's exciting. Those cars are amazing, and boy, I could see where you got up on lap traffic pretty quick there because we ran out there with a midget, and it was not a very big track, so I can't even imagine being in almost the size of a late model, basically, right? So,
yeah, definitely. But it made it interesting. So I'm not always one that I like to win from the front row. I like to go through traffic, and even if I have to, finish one, second, third, fourth, whatever. But I mean, if I'm out there racing through traffic and racing side by side with these guys and gals, it's a good time. That's what we're out there to do, is have a good time. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, winning is a good time. I don't think anytime you're winning, it's you can have a bad time. So that's awesome.
Right.
So you gotta be. So are you gonna run there more, or do you guys travel race, or what's the rest of the summer look like in your car?
So normally we run at Beaver Dam Raceway full time in Beaver Dam, but they went to Tuesday nights. And they dropped our class, so now it's we're going to more of a traveling schedule. We'll be at Gravity here and there. We're looking at maybe 5-6 times be at Gravity. So other than that, we'll travel around to the different tracks that have us and support our class. We do it for the love of the sport, and there's a lot of different reasons why you do RC racing. The main thing, like you and Ryan talk a lot about, is the fellowship. It's just rewarding to be able to create a place for everyone to come out and enjoy, and we all enjoy the same hobby. And it's, I always tell people that, I get some messages ask, are kids welcome or whatever. I said, we have kids from 5 to 75 years old out there. So it's kids of all ages, and our youth is, what we like to strive on, and get them into the hobby. And it, it's not only about RC racing. It teaches people, and these kids on, the mechanics of the cars, how to use a tool. And then also, the winning and the losing that comes with it, to learn how to win and lose. And then also just shows them, hopefully the good fellowship that goes with it. And, gets them outside and enjoying racing as a whole.
There's no way that you follow that. Couldn't have been scripted better way that you said that. That came from your heart. Just have all the respect in the world for you, buddy. RC racing brought us together as friends, as racers, promoters in this crazy hobby that we love. Couldn't feel more blessed that that's happened. Again, thank you so much for your time. I know you're working third shift, so we're going to let you go, get some food, be with your family, get some sleep, and just appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much.
All right, appreciate you as well. Thank you.
Go Fast RC Graphics by Turn 4 Studios is your one stop for all your RC graphic needs. Custom design from start to finish, Go Fast can have you looking your best on race day. Quality vinyl wraps that won't weigh you down. Go Fast can cover your car, your racetrack, and your trophies. Go online to GoFastRCGraphics.com and get your team looking right on race day. Right now, you can use the promo code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your next...
You've been listening to RC Underground Radio. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, drop us a line at rcuradio@gmail.com. We're curious to know, what do you like? What don't you like? Who would you like us to talk to?
Sounded really weird.
It was weird, but you know what I meant. We're talking about racing, so...
Okay. You can find us on Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. See you next time on the RC Underground Radio Podcast.
I am a BB in a boxcar.